Hello Virgo, welcome to my channel. Thanks so much for tuning into your May. Also, if you are after a private reading with me, I do private readings and I'm currently accepting them. I do have my email listed below in the show more section, so please feel free to email me and we can go ahead and arrange that for you. Otherwise, let's have a look and see what's coming up for the sign of Virgo. Okay. This is powerful. I always consider it a good sign when you come up in your own reading, Virgo. So you've come up as the Hermit here, which is quite powerful. Okay, so potentially a lot of shifts, changes and things occurring to you this month in May. Let's kick off the reading with the Judgment card. You've got a beautiful angel that's coming in around you. So I think a very welcomed or awaited for message is coming up. You're almost shedding light on that, Virgo. That's fantastic. You as the Hermit, you're shedding light on an important message, or you're sort of welcoming in, whether consciously or subconsciously welcoming in an important message. It could also be the karmic laws of the universe that are evening out for you, and you might see that sort of come to fruition. Might be shaped in the beginning of the month. Now, the Judgment card can be about making a major judgment call. It can be that you make the right decision, Virgo. It can also be a decision that may change life as you know it. And you've got that beautiful Sun card, which can represent Aries, powerful new beginnings, you know, wonderful attitudes, and you in your power. Anything around legalities and contracts around children and the family home are also likely with the Judgment card. Work contracts, working from home, but I think it's more to do that you're making a decision. The judgment call that you make in May could have profound effects for you in this month. Now, the Hermit is a figure of solitude, heavily analytical, and needs to move away from things that are, I guess, conventional or very mainstream. So I see that you're taking a sort of different approach in something. You may need some independence or some time alone to make that decision, for example, but I don't think you'll regret it. I love that the Hermit shies away, or almost turning away from the Three of Swords, because it indicates you're turning your back on toxic situations. Either you're moving away from heartbreak, from healing, from confusion or conflict, or maybe in matters of love, if things have been confusing, if there's been deception, transgressions. I think you're moving away from that, Virgo. You're surpassing this. Okay, you're not allowing anything to bring you down, anything to take you away from your power and your prestige. You know, I love that. It's an air of confidence that I think is coming up around you. There may be a third-party situation here, okay? With lovers, in community groups, there can be bouts of jealousy as well that can come up. It can be around an air sign. You've got two air cards. But the Three of Swords can be some sort of confusion that comes up, okay? Now, for a lot of you, I don't think it's deception. I think the fact that the Three of Swords sits behind the Virgo indicates that it's more internal rather than an external. How do I say this? It's more internal turmoil or internal confusion rather than perhaps something that happens, that transpires in front of you in plain sight. So I don't think that's the case here, Virgo. I think something else is happening here, and I think it's more to do with your mind and the way you're thinking. But to have that King of Swords energy, I feel like there's a lot of finality that comes with the King of Swords. He's very assertive, he's a very knowledgeable and wise character. So I feel like there's a sense of maturity. There could also be a very important or wise message. Message could be coming from the universe, from spirit, maybe from someone looking after you, whether they belong to this dimension or another, for example, if they've passed on. But there could be an important message that's coming here. But the King of Swords can also be loads of communication happening, a lot of correspondence, maybe paperwork, maybe a lot of texting, maybe you've been waiting to sort of talk this confusion out with someone. I feel like the King of Swords is going to console that Three of Swords situation somehow for you, Virgo. So I think if you need support or you need someone to talk to, I think that person will make themselves available. And I also believe it could be someone else that's sort of seeking your help and your assistance. And when you come together, I feel like you could work with this person and they could really help you in matters of introversion, in matters of delays and things like that. I mean, the Hangman is here, so I feel like something you've been waiting on. I mean, there might be some further delays, but I feel like in a time of delay or in a time of adversity or in a time where things have been flipped on their head, and which would very coincide with the current times that we find ourselves in, at least in the developed world. And to see that, Virgo, I feel like there's a reason why there's a delay. I actually think it's a blessing in disguise. So, but I think especially if you have been in some sort of waiting game, if you've sort of been held in suspense and not you're at a place where you don't really know where you stand in a situation, you know, you're not receiving the answers or the clarity you had hoped to receive, I think that is definitely coming in May, which is a very good sign. And it's a very open energy. I mean, it's almost like you start the reading off, you know, with this open embrace, the people with the open arms, the angel that's blowing the trumpet. I mean, this is really good news. I think you're starting off the month strong and you're even ending it. You know, you've got the Sun card here. It could be a destined Aries, a new beginning of sorts, a new educational path, family, children, tuning into the inner child, the inner self, working on the self, feeling really confident. The Sun is the center of the solar system. This is our sun sign. This is the center of our universe. This is us as a spiritual and physical being that manifests, that opens, that is receptive and responsive. And I feel like this is a real message of hope for those that have found themselves in these sorts of places, I suppose. But I do think there is an important message coming in. An email, a text, maybe a phone call, maybe even a divine sign. But I feel like it's really going to open up doors for you. And I feel like it's life transforming, because you've come up as the Hermit, and the Hermit is literally shining the light on the Judgment card. You might also see karma evidenced around you amongst friends, frenemies, people that have crossed you, people that you've crossed. But I think it's almost like you're going to see someone get their karma. I do. But I think it's someone that might have pained you directly somehow with words, with actions, things that were said, things that weren't said, things they did or things they didn't do for you. So I think that's quite significant. So I think there is big news and big change, and I do feel like life as you know it is going to change. And I want to say that because the Hangman ultimately meets his demise. I mean, we don't see the demise. The demise is really in the Death card, a card of endings. But the Hangman, unless he survives, that's what he has. His existence withers. But the halo, the sun that's around him, it's almost like you're giving life to something. So in a way, if this is an ending of sorts, which I think it may be an ending for you of some kind, there's a beautiful new beginning that brings hope, that brings power, that brings open opportunity, that brings harmony, peace. And look, everything happens so effortlessly. The sun comes out, the child is happy, the animal is here, the flowers are blossoming. It's so much positive energy is wrapped up in this card here, and I feel like life as you know it is really changing, Virgo. So it'll be interesting to see how this possibly relates to areas of love and career in the extended reading. But I do think, as I said, you are shying away, walking away, or turning your back on unhealthy behavior, addictive patterns, negligence, heartbreak. I don't think you're no longer going to be a part of that situation anymore, Virgo. I think you're going to say to yourself, I've had enough of this. I've done my time. I've done my karma. I'm going to move away from this. And what you're moving into, you have no idea. I think it's beautiful, Virgo. So it's really exciting to see. But take care, Virgo. Please look after yourself and all the best.